Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Tokpe Mark Odige. And with me, as usual, are the beautiful ladies, Nima in purple. No, purple. Purple. So that my FRC Oga can be praising me.
I've always said to my daughter, just sounds right. Don't sound... No.
Yeah, on TV, you have to put small phone there. We went to school.
No, you know, the children channels that we have are all sounding somehow. And she thinks that's... Please don't talk to me like that. It's ye. Talk to me. I want to hear you.
Sound African.
Don't say ouch. Say ye.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
We're African.
So I know that something serious is happening. Before I would think she's forming. But I wanted to call the attention of the Public Works Department.
Okay.
That's the PWDs, the federal one, because they will start saying the road is not for Lagos State, it's not for federal. There's a major crater developing at the exit towards Oshodi-Apapa Expressway from Mile 2.
Is it still developing? It's massive.
It's massive now. No, it started small. Now it's become something else. So all cars are going green. I don't know who the contributor who helped us donate stones inside, but it's worsened it. Wow. And the rains come, you know that place is usually flooded. Somebody should be passing there. They should have their supervisors passing. And we have LASMA presence there. Some agencies can report this as well. But since they are not hearing, let me just help them to say it.
It's also under the
TV.
ministry of our tripartite powerful minister, Fashola. I'm sure that
Exactly.
you would get the information and send someone over there.
That, does this corrections from time to time. So that's why.
Obiajilu Ugo. So we're loving all the family pictures, and I tried to look for my husband's picture that we took together, and it was...
You couldn't
I couldn't find something in the past
husband
6 months.
I'm
telling you, he doesn't like taking pictures,
we'll fight after the show.
What's going on?
Today, I don't know what happened. I left my house, normal time, 5:30. I was in Fagba for over 2 hours. I had to, my car is still there. The whole place was blocked. A lot of trucks on the road.
Must have happened.
So I had to get into Okada this morning. My heart was in my mouth. With all the...
We don't hustle this hustle before now.
We don't say now. We don't big up. So
okay, finally,
that was
I think someone feels what I've
No, this is the first time I'm having this kind of experience. It was terrible.
No.
I don't know
For
what
me,
all the
5
trucks
years
were
on
doing.
the show. It must happen in a year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So, but aside from that, I want to thank all the people who wished me
happy married
wedding anniversary, celebrated me, put up my pictures, my fine husband. Thank you so much. I love you all. The calls, messages. I love you. Thank you. We'll keep going. This is the beginning of forever. More blessings. Thank you.
I have a funny gist for you guys. So I heard that my son threw a tantrum yesterday.
In school?
No, at home. Because he said he's not going to rub cream on his body to go to school. So I asked him, I said, so what happened? He said, I'm protecting my melanin.
Eh?
I said, no, where did you get that from? I said, where did you hear that from? He said his teacher told him that those people that rub cream, they take off their melanin, and then when they get into the sun, they get sunburnt. So he doesn't want to get sunburnt. So I had to explain to him that the one we rub in our house protects your melanin. So when you go out, you don't get sunburnt. So he was happy.
Honestly,
so
Mariah suggested
I'm happy that they're having,
yes,
I'm happy that our teachers are having these conversations with our children. For most of us, we learned through experience. You use all sorts of creams and then the bad experience. But our children are having these conversations. Kudos to
But there's another angle that I
teachers.
found very interesting is that Mariah suggested we should do a series on parenting because we all have kids.
Yeah, almost
we're having to
saying
have this conversation. People they're asking so many questions. Mommy, what is this? What is celebration? What are you going for? What are you going to do at celebration? What do they do there? Can't I come with you to celebration? And I'm like, there's so many things happening in their head. It's like, I'm having nightmares. I watch this cartoon and it's scaring me. Mommy, I don't want to see it again. It's scaring me. And I'm wondering, you're not sleepy. You can only have nightmares when you're sleeping. So these children are getting so many things bombarded at them at the same time that we need to understand how to help them handle it. And so we definitely, you should look forward to us discussing parenting from next week. When we return, I'm going for celebration today too, though.
Yes, we are.
Yes, I'm going for celebration today. We need to do something, have fun. When we return, we'll review the headline news for today. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We'll be starting off with the Punch. Major headline. Electricity problems can be solved by magic, says Fashola. NICOM suspends insurance firms' recapitalization. And in other news, Saraki heeds court warning, pays Omoagege's entitlement. Lagos hoodlum kills small Jipron, 3 others over politicians' largesse. PDP members protest disbandment of Osun Election Tribunal. Another veteran comedian, Adima Jasan, dies at 83. Federal government trims budget size, proposes 8.6 trillion for 2019. 2019, disgruntled elements stockpiling arms, says service chiefs. Minimum wage, we are still struggling to pay 18,000, says governors. Fraud, NHIS boss reinstated by Buhari's suspended. NHIS boss reinstated by Buhari suspended indefinitely. So, which one are we going with first?
NHIS boss.
Okay.
He
was suspended by Buhari before. Buhari before. Now suspended.
Yes, he.
Because that confused me a bit.
No, yes, he was suspended again, as they said, and the allegations of misconduct again, and so the governing council has come together and said that they're putting him on suspension so that they can take time out, which will take them 3 months to look into the allegations. Yeah. And he was first suspended in February of last year.
So there was a protest when he was reinstated, saying that he was being investigated and he was supposed to step aside so that the investigations can be done transparently. But, you know, the president reinstated him, people continued protesting. I think so. Since the allegations are stronger, he has to still step aside. But I wanted to take the cultist story there.
Okay, go ahead.
So in Shomolu Bariga, the cultist that was gunned down, his name is Jepron, yeah. And one-eyed Jepron, according to them.
He has one eye.
The four cultists were killed, but this particular cultist he was a self-confessed one. In 2016, he had been arrested and he confessed to being a member of the Aye Confraternity. Confraternity. And at this politician, the APC House of Reps member who threw a party for the votes he got to be the Federal House of Reps member candidate in that area, he was gunned down at the party because there were rumors that he went away with about 500,000 naira paid by one of the politicians to him and a lot of other things. But this is very important that we start to curb these things.
So this was caused by the politicians' largesse. It was free money and they were fighting over the money. Let's move on to Tribune. Is it not in other papers?
No, it's not in another paper.
Okay.
So the President Buhari had a meeting with the security chiefs to find out the security situation in the country. And some of the service chiefs are saying that politicians are procuring and stockpiling arms that they are planning to use for the election. So during and after the elections, there's bound to be they're using it to cause mayhem. So the president has ordered that they make sure that all they deploy a number of security officials to make sure that all the political positions, all the polls and everywhere is manned properly.
They should prevent anything from happening.
That's what they are working on.
Moving on to Nigerian Tribune, major headline, Buhari security chiefs meet over 2019 polls, security agents to be deployed to states to douse tension created during party primaries. In other news, we have NAFDAC, SON, confirmed receipt of NAI alert on Chinese drugs allegedly containing human flesh.
Yes,
Osun Tribunal, PDP protests disbandment. Showdown in Lagos over garbage. Assembly orders PSP operators back to work, disowns Visionscape. Summons Commissioner for Environment, threatens Finance Commissioner with refund of money paid to Visionscape. We will continue to fulfill our contract terms. That's from Visionscape. So, Nima, I know you have Visionscape.
The House of Assembly of Lagos have again set precedent on how democracy should run by looking into the issues of waste and the epidemic that can possibly come from the waste and all the environmental depletion that we have now in Lagos. They are saying that the contract with which the Visionscape was brought in wasn't brought to the House at all. So they are saying that they do not have a knowledge of any company called Visionscape to handle waste. And because we continue to have waste in Lagos, they've gone into the old order and summoned the 20 local government chairmen and the 37 LCDA chairmen to recall all PSP operators and keep the waste in Lagos.
So what happens to the contract between
the Visionscape is saying they will continue with the terms of their contract, and I'm saying as a lawyer, ask your lawyers to advise you on possible frustration clauses in your contract. It might be your better exit, or do an arrangement, or you do an innovation or something.
As a Lagosian, I feel concerned that we still have waste issues everywhere, despite the new Visionscape being in charge. But when I consider the investment a private company has made into waste disposal based on a contract, I worry that we'll be dissuading other public partnerships. Investors, they won't want to come in because they feel it is unstable. Now, I know that there are issues that is not our hot topic. We cannot start discussing.
It's not our hot topic, but because we are Lagos, you see, something can be in your face, and then you continue to do it. That's the problem.
I know.
For instance, where
understand.
I can't appreciate.
So does anybody have the story on NAFDAC SON confirming Chinese drugs containing human flesh?
So the DGs of NAFDAC and the SON are confirming that they were written to by the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, NIA, on a particular drug. About 2,700 capsules of them are in Nigeria right now, and they are made with dead bodies of babies from China. Those capsules are here. These capsules are supposed to be able to cure. They're supposed to have the cure to boost stamina, to have the cure for cancer, to have a lot of things. But they're Chinese made, and
can they mention the names
of the drugs
so that we will stop taking them?
They said for diplomatic reasons with Beijing, they won't be able to mention the names,
so that we don't end up taking human flesh.
We already have them here.
Moving on
People
to
should tone down on Chinese things.
Yes, moving on to Daily Sun, major headline: 2019, Buhari's in-law Amosu Abe lost out as APC submits list of candidates to INEC. We can't pay 24,000 naira minimum wage, says the governors. Waste collection, Lagos Assembly orders PSP back to work. APC treasurer, policeman, 3 others killed in Ekiti, Lagos, Benue. UN puts Nigeria's population at 195.9 million. So that's so many stories. Labour.
Yes, I'm really interested in that because I've been following up on the story. Now, the Nigerian Governors Forum had a meeting and with the NLC chairman and some other stakeholders, and they are insisting that they can't pay the minimum wage because in as much as they are not against the review, there is no money for them to pay that amount. And NLC is still not backing down that you guys promised. In fact, when they wrote the letter, according to the chairman, 21 states responded and said they were going to pay. So they can't come now and say they are not paying.
Nima and I are on opposing sides on this story because I want true federalism for states to determine what they should get, and I know you want them.
Except any state in Nigeria can tell me they don't have certain parts of their civil service that are paid bloated salaries. So they have lawmakers in their houses of assembly paid to sit, and they don't even come for sitting. They have people on their cabinet paid for not doing their job.
Exactly. Let's take UN
salaries.
Let's take UN because our population is increasing.
Well, the United Nations population for UNFPA says that 76% of Nigerians are between the ages of 0 to 24, and that number, our population has hit 195.9 million, which surprisingly is different from the number given to us by the National Population Commission, which already, as of last year, put our number to 198. So we're not quite there, according to the UN.
But the ones we have, are we taking care of them?
But it also shows that the majority of Nigerians are between the ages of 0 to 25.
Yes.
And that is power.
80% less than 30. Moving on to The Nation, as in... Major headline, how we plan to win the 2019 election by Buhari and Atiku. And I'm waiting for the person that appeal to the young people, 80% less than 30. APC treasurer in Ekiti shot dead at supper. Fayose to explain $5.8 million he got from Obanikoro, why Oshu Tribunal was reconstituted. So you have the story, BC, of the APC treasurer shot dead.
Yeah, the APC. Okay, the APC treasurer, his name is Mr. Moses Adeoye. And really, there's no story about he was in his home having dinner and gunmen came in and he was shot. And although the other papers talked about
3 other people that were
killed in Benue State, and you know, just pockets of violence all around, people just coming and going. Yes,
so we need that. We need the security. We need the security. We definitely need the president to work with the security officials to ensure that we have safety. If things are already going violent from now, please be protective of yourself and your family. Exactly. That's all we can take on headline news for today. Next, we have this hot trending gist all over social media. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Let me go for it.
Thanks for staying with us. A debate is currently trending on Twitter after a male user asked this thought-provoking question on social media platform whether a woman is a prostitute or not if she sleeps with another man to pay her children's school fees. However, many users are not supporting a married woman cheating to help her children as they think it is a lame excuse, while others have the opinion that exceptions should be made in some cases where the woman is in their need to help her children. What are your thoughts on this? Join this conversation by calling us on 070-8066-8014, or you could tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can take your tweet. So, which side are you on?
See, let's call a spade a spade. That's how I'll start. First of all, it is prostitution. Where you exchange sex for favors, for money, it is prostitution. But me, Mariam, I can't sit down here in judgment or in condemnation of a person who finds themselves in the situation where they think that they have to make that choice, and it's because of the realities on ground. It would be so easy to lump everyone that has found themselves in this situation and say they're lazy or greedy. But we have heard stories or seen people who are hardworking, break their backs daily, and for some reason, you know, they just cannot seem to make ends meet. And then you probably find a certain woman, she has children, she's trying to pay fees, trying to pay rent, and then where this normally starts, she's going around family and friends asking for help, and she meets this person, most probably someone that's even well known to the woman's husband and the family, and he recognizes her vulnerability and takes advantage of that. I mean, what she has done is bad in the sense of the word, is prostitution, but I don't know how I can sit down, you know, as a mother, because my own first thing to do is really to protect my child, to provide for my child, to nurture my child. And I'm wondering if I find myself in that sort of situation where it is so tough for me. I don't know. I don't know how I can really call someone out on that.
I would say I wouldn't call that prostitution in the context of prostitution. But why must sex be the option? We've seen people who are in dire situations like that, and then they go and do menial jobs just to, you know, make ends meet. We've seen people who've brought their children down from maybe a certain level, a school, to, you know, we go to public schools, it's almost free, what you can afford. So you cut your cloth according to, you cut your coat according to your cloth and not according to your size.
Are we being oblivious of those that are really desperate?
No, listen, there are options. You will always have options. Now, it is even possible that she wanted another option, but then the guy took advantage. Let's not take that away.
As I said.
Do you understand? But there are still options. There are still things that can be done aside from, because you know my worry is if you have to sleep with the guy to pay the fees, tomorrow there's no food in the house. You will resort to sleeping with another man to buy food. Exactly. Next tomorrow, there's no rent. You decide to sleep with another man to pay the rent. So we should look at other options that can help. People go out on the streets and hawk and do something to make sure that they feed.
So me, I'll go African today. Because if I go religious, everybody on Twitter will be expecting the hijab woman to say some things. It is wrong, totally unacceptable for an African woman to resort to prostituting to feed your children. Where I am from in Edo State, it's a curse to use such proceeds to feed your children, to send them to school. They will tell you, you have removed the blessing of God from that child's life. Cancel that option. In fact, totally forget it, and you will still raise your children See, the sacrifices that our mothers made.
Desperation.
The sacrifices our mothers made were in our faces.
Yes.
So as early as 9, I started operating my mother's grinding meal with her. I saw things that, you know, I had a dad who had a job, but things can go back.
What if they have no option? There are people out there that they feel they have no option.
We are Africans. It is the moment.
Very good example. Not too long ago, we talked about women in the IDP camps who cannot feed themselves or their children until they find someone they can sleep with, who is in charge of the storeroom or in charge. We're talking of desperate people. There are different categories of
examples you just made. That was rape. And I remember saying,
that was not rape.
Listen, that was rape. That was rape. You took advantage of a woman who is legitimately entitled to something, denying her, causing her hardship so you can sleep with her. That's rape. Anyway you look at it, those are two different examples. So you see our mothers, you've had a good life. You've been pampered by your husband, but things turn around, it dies. Doesn't mean that you turn yourself into a prostitute overnight, but you still raise your children.
Let me even hop on that. Growing up, there was a time my father was not available for whatever reason. We couldn't find him. And my grandmother was left with 3 of us. She had to sell her wrappers to make sure that we ate. Hold on. This was somebody who was working, who had everything, and then she had stroke, and all her girls left, and then she had to feed from hand to mouth. She was doing any kind of job. She did not sleep with a man.
I had a woman when I was in law school who was my own helpmate in school, who would come to my hostel, and I don't have anything for her to do because I'm hands-on. I've done all my cleaning, and she'll be like, but I have children to feed. You must give me something to do. So I empowered the woman. Let me explain, Tokwe. I knew she wanted that option. Well, she could have had the options of sleeping with her husband's friends.
What if she couldn't get that job? What if she couldn't get that job? Because I've had people that came to meet me.
She sought it and sold it.
Listen to somebody else's part.
Hold on.
What if for any reason, I have someone on my case right now that sent me account number and I couldn't do transfer, and she has a child in the hospital that is in need of money. So if somebody gives that offer, that just a few minutes of sex with you, you will get the money to do that. What if that's the only option? A lot of people hide to do these things because they don't have any other option.
So, but this is not a case of life and death. This is not a case of life and death.
Why remember,
it's a school fees.
We have a phone call, though.
School fees.
Divine from Apapa, welcome to the show.
Yes, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
I want to contribute on the issue at ground, on hand. You see, let us call a spade a spade. Yeah. And let's believe that whatever you do in exchange of that is completely out of it. Don't tell me that it's because I want to give you a token. What peradventure after the sex?
I did not give
you the money. You cannot use that as an example. Men are wicked. They can tell you that, but after even having that sex, they will not give you that money. What will you do? And don't use it as an excuse. In as much as you can do something, there is nobody in this country that you cannot find one thing doing that can make you to pay yourself.
Thank you. It's just the dignity of the labor.
Let me give you an example. There was a time I was traveling. A lady, a copper, met me in the park and was asking people to just pay him with 4,000 naira to meet up the fee. And I asked the person that is in charge, is this person traveling? And I found out that yes, the person is traveling. I have to pay that fee. And the lady in question come back to me, try to collect my number. I said, if I should give you my number, you will be calling me, and peradventure, I may want to say, okay, let me have advantage of you. I refuse giving her my number. So that is just the thing. But for you to say, because I want to have a favor and I will say to you before I give you that favor, it's completely out of. You are doing it with your own consent. It's not because of that money. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Divine, for calling.
Let me make first of all, I need us to understand. We talk about the level of poverty in Nigeria. We talk about how people are unable to feed. And then we sit down here from the comfort of our own home and the comfort of our own experiences and realities, and we think that it is the same for everyone. I grew up with a mom who had to work so hard at the hospital. She would work all night long at the hospital before she gets home. I understand the sacrifices that women make, but I understand that there are people who do not even have those options, and we are aware of those sort of people. You work with a lot of women, you have heard their stories, so we cannot sit down here and then be saying, oh, you should have done that. No, let me finish. You should be grinding corn. There are people who still do that and have still found themselves in even more bad situations, and they have caught themselves yourself, what do you now tell this person? Do you now say to her, she comes to you, I've been unable to feed my child, and this is what I ended up doing. Will you say to her, you're so bad, and what you did is so wrong, I don't think I can, look at you.
We're not judging.
We are.
No,
Prostitutes would always be amongst us. They have clients. The men will patronize them. They have clients. So some people will say, all work now work. This is, I would rather do this and have time with my children than hustle everywhere and my children turn into waywards. And are we saying that those people that are desperately pushed into that world, they have no say?
So, man, if you want to be a prostitute, please come out and be a prostitute.
You know there's prostitution.
Hold on. If you are somebody's wife, please be somebody's wife. Let's hold on. That is a different issue. In the context of what we're discussing, it's about school fees.
Okay.
It's not that the child is dying somewhere in the hospital. This is school fees. So can't you change that school? I've seen people around me who are not able to pay fees, and the kids are at home for a while. And people look at you, I don't want your kids to be at home, and something comes up. They help.
The conversation will still continue because I understand that you have to fight for the rights morally and culturally, but I understand there are desperate people out there. We'll bring in a guest who's from another clime and would give us the take on that side. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Our guest, Lee John, is an English musician, singer, and actor of St. Lucia descent. He is best known as the lead singer of the soul band Imagination, which had 3 UK top 10 hits in the early 1980s. He is also an ambassador for SOS Children's Village, an international orphanage charity providing homes for orphans and their abandoned mothers and abandoned children. Join the conversation. He's going to join the conversation generally too. He's been interested in giving us his opinion, because I saw him listening attentively. So, you have a different experience. You're in UK, and they have some sort of social welfare system.
Which doesn't work.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't think it works.
So, what would you say to a woman who got so desperate she resorted to sleeping with someone to get money to pay her kids' school fees? Would you call it prostitution or helping herself in their need?
Well, it's a different thing. Now, first off, I'd say you 4 are very strong, opinionated women. And you have your ways and your things, but you have to also experience there are people out there that do not have a voice. They don't have a voice. They're not as strong as you. You're saying bah bah bah, but there's those people who their opinions are not even heard. As you so rightly said, sometimes you don't really know what's going on behind someone's life. And that's why the circumstances happen. I know from experience, I've been doing SOS, and I'm also involved with another charity called Voyage Youth. And I'm here for Felabration, which is also to help the community as a charity, which is very, very important to me because it's giving back. I've had a wonderful 36 years of a career, so it's great for me to always give back and also inspire, because that's what's important. But I've seen, as my career's shown me, there's a lot of people that do not have, and they would do things because they have to. I can personally talk about certain people who I'm speaking to them and you're trying to help them, but they've got no alternative. And no matter how much you try and say, well, look, we'll try and do this, they'd only see what's in front of them.
They'd rather not take an alternative. So some people you give an alternative, but they want
some people you can help, some people you can reach out to, but some people are thinking, well, you know what, I'm desperate, and that's that desperation.
But Lee, some people will think that it is a lazy man, is a lazy woman's way out, because it's the easiest job you could do. It doesn't require you anything but just lie down and
well, we're in the 21st century, look, you have options. Everybody, there's a right, there's a wrong. Everybody has an option. And I believe if you are strong-willed and determined, you can get through. I totally agree. If you there are people out there who can help you. There are a lot of community programs and things that you can go to if that person is of that mind.
The mindset.
That's it. They've got to be of that mind.
Good. And then maybe, what do you think, Lee? If she does it once, it's a 5-year tough period, and then one time she does it, does that make her a prostitute for the rest of her life because she made that maybe one bad decision, but it helped her, take care of that issue. Yeah, for that short period. But then she goes ahead and then she lives her life and pushes forward.
Let me just quickly add to it. So a guy has had a hard time and robs once. Is he an armed robber?
Good question.
No, it is. It is armed robbery.
So it's the same thing.
So please answer.
Nima, you were going to say something before we went on a break.
So I work with women. A lot of times I've seen women who are married and are abandoned have to fend for their children alone. I always try to build them out. So I don't just listen to your story. It's not my nature to listen to your story and walk away. So you drop a story for me, I will find a way around it. And I've seen women who's been faced with this option of prostitution come to me. We've 3 times had to build them out. One time it was too tiring for me. I had to seek YK and Jumoke's help. So we raised the funds together to get her a shop. But this woman could have, she's beautiful. I've seen, she's so beautiful. She could have said, 2, 3 men will give me this entire money you guys are raising. It took me and she lost a house that was very comfortable because I couldn't raise 30,000 within a short time for her to get that house. But she didn't do that. So she has 5 kids to provide for. So it's the mentality. Once you say this option is out, you'll be patient and you'll be steadfast on getting the right options because it's the values you give to your children.
Only fear that sometimes I feel that it's so easy for us to dump all the people like that in the lazy, greedy box.
No, I don't think you should.
And then you're not unable to really help people that
we
need help.
categorize too much sometimes.
Too much,
And I think that
vulnerability example. So a person who takes advantage of you when you're vulnerable is taking advantage of you.
So we should talk on that. But let me take Precious phone
You
call.
open yourself for that.
Welcome to the show. Good morning, Precious.
Hello, good morning. I'm calling from Makure.
Welcome to the show.
I miss Morayo and
Well, I'm missing her too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a woman, and I want to say, I'm not trying to sound like a saint, but I want to say that it is very wrong on both sides, in fact, on all sides. A woman should not, and I repeat, should not underline, should not sell her body, all in the name of taking care of our children. And you expect that children, you like the Yoruba people will say. It is wrong. A woman should find something to do, like what Nima said and Bisi. They should try and work. There are options. There are options. Let a woman go out and work. Women are known to be very, very hardworking.
Resilient people.
Yes, we are.
So, please, my advice for women out there is that no matter what, no matter the situation, if you want your children to do well in life, don't use money from such acts to take care of them. Thank you and God bless.
So I have 2 tweets here. Samson Sembore says, there are better options for sure, but I really can't blame the woman. Perhaps she was really in a tight spot. Evelyn Morenike says, whatever it is, whichever way we want to paint it, it is wrong. But we can't totally judge and condemn her because we don't really have an idea of her situation at that moment. Some mothers can go to any length for her children. My own issue.
Let's stick to tweets.
Okay, so if as a woman you go into a relationship because you want to benefit financially, then you are prostituting on a certain level. That's Hope Akpan. And Abe John says that... Okay, sorry.
Okay. So I wanted us to focus
Can I say something?
Yes,
to answer your question, once you go into something like prostitution, it can affect you mentally for a very long time. It can affect your family for a very long time. It can affect your children for a very long time.
So
because as you said, once you start, are you going to continue doing this?
Will definitely.
As you were saying, you have to do the kids, then you have to do the house, then you have to do this, You go into a completely, then you start turning to drugs just to maintain it. Because that's what happens.
It's like, is it high?
But to numb your system, because you're doing it and you don't want to do it.
See, we're going to round off now and then come back to talk about celebration.
Hey,
but we have one call from London. Hey.
Hello.
Kemi, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, but I love this topic so much.
Oh,
we don't, before you bring up, because they bring out any topic like this, you have to be thinking about the whole world at large. You don't take it to our culture, Yoruba culture. No, you don't take it to religion. There was a time in 1975 in Spain, I was donating my blood to get my daily bread. What do you call me? Is that not my body? If you are condemning me,
You are wanting to go outside and be robbing. When you go to Germany, in St. Paul, there are some prostitutes, they are legal ones. They pay their tax and everything. Government knows them. It is in Africa, you are applying every African mentality to everything. Prostitution is what you, a prostitute, you don't know why but a woman come and sleep with a man to pay the school fee. That is what she told you. You know what she's going to do the money for? With this topic is to condemn prostitute. Don't take everything into African mentality, into African culture all the time.
Thank you, Femi. That's why the show is your view and you're entitled to your opinion. However, we all agree that to a large extent, it's a psychological thing. A willing mind will find 1,000 ways. So if you think that prostitution is your only solution, if you think deep, you'll find other options to prostitution because like it or not, we're in Africa. Yes, and in Africa, we believe in karma, we believe in the negative impact of your act on your children. So find other positive solutions towards this. And we return. We'll be discussing Felaboration 2018, overtaking. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
That was good. That was good. That was or Flashback Friday.
Flashback
Yes, so Flashback Friday. That was cool. It was good to see you when we had the six-pack and we had hair.
Yeah, exactly, the curly perm. See, that's when it all started. You know, we used to get all the products from America to do the curly perm. It would burn your scalp. You know, all those, and I'm going to look good. I'm going to look good, you know. And then you had your, and you thing it in, and all the stuff would be on the back of your my God.
But listening to this song, and you know, the kind of songs we're used to, the things that blow here. So you made it to the top hits in the UK, top charts at the time. But the kind of songs that blow here, you've listened to African songs, what they call presently the
I've listened to a lot
Afro
of
R&B, Afro hip hop, all those kind of things. What's your take on?
I love it because, I mean, my parents are from St. Lucia, and I was recently in St. Lucia earlier this year, and it's a combination of Afro-Caribbean, but it also takes me back to many, many years ago when you used to have the music of Fele, and a lot of the different, I know some of the music of Osabisa, and the Afro beat was always something that was traditional in the 60s and 70s. So it seems like it's coming back, and they're using it in a modern phrase, except it's more kind of quick. You know, the songs are much shorter, they're more repetitive. But it's the same kind of thing. But melody still rules over. Strong melodies still rule, you know?
How were you able to stay at the top? Because we have people who just sing and then you don't see them anymore. Like they call them one-hit stars. So they just come out and they go. But you were able, at your time, during your time, you were able to maintain that stability as an artist. How was it for you?
Well, we started in 1981. We finished the decade with the top 5 album. Then in the 90s, I did a lot of work with a lot of different artists writing, and then I went into producing films and different areas of that and other artists, and I kept maintaining. And I think what it is, when you have a career, it's about doing everything as much as you can, acting, singing, writing, and exploring, you know, evolving, I mean, I'm now involved in a film called Flashback, which is the history of UK black music. I've been working on it for the last 5 years. And I have over 400 hours. We've interviewed many, many different people who've contributed to British black music. So we start from the turn of the century. So all the music that's come from Africa, the Caribbean, in the turn of the century, people from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. So we're editing it now and hope to finish it. It's a brand. It's not just a film, because we want to have it as an application for black music that the world knows about. Because you know many of the artists, but you don't know they're from the UK, Eddie Grant, Billy Ocean, people, loads of loose ends, whatever. So we are now in the end of the 90s, and it will be finished, because we also want to do a museum tour as well, where you remember the clothes from the 60s, the 70s, but from the artist's point of view. So this is what's important. For me, it's important that that black culture, from where I come from, which is North London, hear the accent, North London Cockney, comes through to the world. We know about America, we know about jazz, Motown and Stax, but there's people that, from your country, from Nigeria, from South Africa, they all came to the UK. They all contributed in fashion, in music, in style, and built that country up. So this is what we're doing with Flashback. So that's one of the things. I've also done a documentary for SOS Children in South Africa, in Zambia, Tunisia. But I'm here for celebration.
So that brings me to question. So over the years, we have seen so many international artists, identify with Celebration. And I would like to know what Fela means to you and Celebration.
Well, I had one of his albums, a live album, he's iconic, number one, and I love his moves, and that's it, that's the thing, and the music stands for a hell of a lot, and in a political sense, in a historical sense, in nationality and unity, and bringing people together, and to be performing at the Shrine is a fantastic honor for me. I can transcend this to people in the UK to say I'm here, which is a fantastic thing for me, and I'm glad that the Kuti family, Yena and all the family brought me over, and also that I could help, because I like to help communities, and we're a world community, and this is a situation.
That's one of the major things Fela promoted, black unity,
Yeah,
African unity.
That to me is very important. That's my mission. I'm now, in my lifetime, they're calling me now in the UK a social activist. I'm saying I'm a musical social activist.
So performing today?
Tonight?
I'm performing on Sunday, so I hope you come. Sunday you have to come, and then I'll be doing all the songs like Illusion.
Do something.
I'm using the music, the band. This is what I'm here for. I'm hoping to meet some people today. I want to do a collaboration. I want to do some Afrobeat music. So some musicians out there, leejohn.com, check me out, or leejohn23@yahoo.co.uk.
I can see you in the Afrobeat mode.
We're
also all in the Afrobeat
mode.
So
collaborations.
Right away.
Seriously.
We need to work together. Black unity, Africa all together.
Unity in the community.
Unity in the community, and that's a good way to end the show. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a fabulous week. Have a fabulous collaborative weekend. And you know the way to African Shrine. Enjoy the weekend over there. See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.